going on our premium submarine.
That is so cool. That's a spotted eagle ray.
Right now heading out towards the deepest point of our tour.
Oh my goodness, that was incredible. My first time in a submarine. Oh, that took my breath away.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny. A very dark and sad story has come to a somewhat good conclusion here. It's twisted, man, but check this out. The Titanic sub has been found. This is the missing sub that's been missing for a couple days. People were counting down the hours. This morning, the oxygen supposedly ran out. But what we now know is that that was utterly irrelevant, okay? So here's the news story that's ping-pong balling all around the internet right now. Breaking: Coast Guard discovers debris field within the search area of the missing Titanic submarine. So that debris field obviously could be the sub itself, right? So Mario, who's been doing really good reporting on this, is saying that the debris found the Coast Guard near the Titanic wreckage in search of the missing submersible. This confirmed what we've discussed, is that the carbon fiber hull of the submarine imploded, killing everyone on board instantly. The bad news: everyone is unfortunately dead. Our hearts go out to our friends, their friends and family. The good news is, well, there isn't really good news. It's a relief, because the implosion means that everyone on board died instantly instead of suffocating slowly over days or freezing to death, because of course it is super sub-zero temperatures, you know, there at the bottom of the ocean. And these, of course, are the people that were inside of the submarine. And this would be the 5 individuals inside of the submarine, including the CEO of the company, who's a real scumbag, apparently. Not to speak ill of the dead. But here is the breaking news that I thought was extremely pertinent. Nick Sortor saying that there is a man who's on, this is Sky News. This man is a friend of 2 of the men missing on board. So he has insight into what was actually, into what they actually found, right? Because right now they just found debris. There's a lot of debris at the bottom of the ocean. There's an enormous amount of debris. Maybe it's like a hunk of the Titanic. Nobody knows. This guy says, no. What this debris is literally the submarine hull. It exploded underwater. Check it out.
Rescue expert, friends of 2 of those on board, and you're getting some news.
Yeah,
hearing some news.
Yeah, I'm. There's a WhatsApp group between ourselves and the Explorers Club that we've all been connected to as soon as this happened, and our president is directly connected to the ships that are out there, and the message that they're telling me, if you're talking about debris, it was a landing frame and a rear cover from the submersible. So again, this is a very unconventional submarine. The that rear cover is that pointy end of it.
Yeah.
And the landing frame is this little frame that it seems to sit on, and that's how it gets docked into the landing bit.
Right.
So that confirms it's the submersible.
So that's the guy saying, that's the man who has inside knowledge of what they're actually finding, saying, yes, what they found here at the Titanic shipwreck site. This is a very helpful map here, because I actually wasn't quite sure. The ocean's a big old wide place. So where are we talking about exactly? Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Newfoundland, Canada. This is approximately where the Titanic sunk, and this is where the submersible then presumably would be. So there it is. That's where they're looking, and this is apparently where, according to that family friend who is privy to information that is not publicly available right now, they found literally the hull of the submarine. So what does that mean? Is they're finding like these chunks of it at the bottom of the ocean. That means, well, that the thing exploded. That the pressure of the ocean, which is some of the strongest pressure on planet Earth, the pressure, there's no pressure actually bigger than the pressure at the bottom of the ocean, is the most uninhabitable place on planet Earth. That this pressure got to this very strange little submarine that was created by a guy who's real knucklehead, right? Again, I'm not trying to dunk on anyone here or make light of what's happening, but this guy clearly cut a lot of corners. Check it out. Conclusion according to Mario Nafal, who I do a lot of work with, who hosts really good Twitter spaces with some major experts. These are Titanic sub experts, friends of the passengers. 1, the most likely scenario is the hull of the submersible imploded due to the brittle carbon fiber material, killing all 5 passengers within milliseconds. Now, what do we know about this submarine? Well, we know that the owner of the submarine, the designer of the submarine, bragged about how he's not supposed to make a submarine out of this material.
I'd like to be remembered as an innovator. I think it was General MacArthur said, "You're remembered for the rules you break." And, you know, I've broken some rules to make this. I think I've broken them with logic and good engineering behind me. The carbon fiber and titanium, there's a rule you don't do that. Well, I did. It's picky.
Well, okay, maybe there was maybe some rules are meant to be followed. Jackass. The second scenario is that the sub experienced a mechanical failure and they manually released their ballast tanks and floated up. In this scenario, they would be currently floating above the water. Some points. This is unlikely, as they would have been spotted by now, even days ago, especially with all the equipment that they had to send out a signal. If this is the case, it is not good news, as they only had about 1 to 2 hours of oxygen left. They cannot open up the hatch from the inside, meaning if they were found within 1 to 2 hours, they would suffocate despite being above water. Wow, that's bad. 3, the CEO of the company OceanGate, the guy who just was bragging about how he cuts corners and doing the thing he's not supposed to do, is also the pilot. He's known to cut corners, most likely to make more money by cutting costs. Multiple reports by ex-employees, the CEO himself in the past interviews, and third parties point to the company being frugal, cutting corners when it comes to safety. So they certainly were known for that. It's creating headlines like this all across the internet. Thrill seekers pulled out of missing sub trip over fears he was cutting too many corners. Yep. So a lot of people who were supposed to be on this trip or wanted to go on these trips decided, hey, man, you control your submarine with a Sony PlayStation controller? That's not good. That doesn't seem like... Wait, you made this out of carbon fiber? Isn't this submarine going to experience the pressures of the bottom of the ocean? Maybe that's a bad idea. Uh-oh. This is the sub.
It's got one button, and that's it. Yeah, so we run the sub with this game controller. It's made by Logitech, but it's basically a Sony PlayStation style controller. If you want to go forward, you press forward. If you want to go back, you press back. You want to turn to the left, it's like that. You want to turn to the right, you turn to the right.
That's not good, man. Okay. The last possible scenario, which is unlikely, on the facts that we have, is that they are currently stuck at the Titanic wreckage or near it on the seabed. If that's the case, it would take hours to find them, more hours to pull them out, which means they had zero chance of surviving. This is unlikely, is most harrowing scenario, as it means they've spent days in freezing temperatures, will end up freezing to death before they even suffocate to death. So I strongly hope this is not the case. That'd be a very, very painful death. The company should be sued if the reports of lack of quality control and the apparent lies on their website are accurate. The passengers are likely dead and did not go through days of suffering. So I guess if you're looking for some type of super dark silver lining, this is what it looked like inside of the sub. Holy cannoli, man. That just doesn't look that doesn't look comfortable. That doesn't look good. That doesn't look safe. None of that looks safe. I ain't one for like I'm not one for like super crazy regulation, you know. I feel like people have the right, actually, literally, to make bad decisions, and that's important. That people have the right to make these decisions for their lives, like if they're going to Fry Festival. The guys who sold the submarine trip, yeah. You have a right to make bad decisions, man. That's a free country. But this is a tragedy. Yikes, this is one weird thing that I found. Wendy Rush, who is the wife of the missing Titanic submarine pilot, is the great-granddaughter of 2 first-class passengers who died arm in arm on the Titanic. A fictionalized version of the couple was featured in James Cameron's movie. Strange ironies. Strange ironies exist all across. this strange little world that we live in. Ladies and gentlemen, if some guy offers you a ride on the Titanic to go down and see the Titanic inside of a pretty much like a metal tube that's been had hand screwed, tightened by hand, whew, man, don't do it. Say nah. Same thing if they offered I don't know, fly you to the moon on something like that. You don't want it. You don't want it. One man I trust with all this would be Elon Musk, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that's apparently they found it. The guys, the families and friends said no, they found the wreckage. This is not a false report. They found literally the parts of the thing that you can see. I mean, they found this thing, this part right here, and that part right there. So there we go. Mystery solved. The thing blew up under the pressure, massive pressure of the ocean. A tragedy. Terrible. Make smart decisions. Liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. We will never let you down. See ya.